Hey up everyone, welcome back. Okay, not sure what we're going to have today, but I wanted to do a little video for next week because I'm making this before number 12, whatever it is, comes out. Next week is Thanksgiving, next Thursday, and big thing here in the US. And I'll be going down to Baltimore with Linda because that's where all her family is, so we'd always spend it with them. So I'm not sure what I'll be able to do, and to make sure I have a video for, say, next week after you've looked at number 12. So it's going to be number 13. Ooh. I thought I'd just do much as I can today and we'll stick that out, because the video you haven't seen, well, you've just watched, was a longish one. So I've set the valve clearances and I put these two back ones on. As I say, I'm going to get some more of the nice new nuts to put the front on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the battery box / toolbox in here, and then we'll drop it down and we'll put the wiring harness on and see about doing the headlight and the switch and stuff like that. So let's see how much we can get done. Now the battery box, of course, goes in here and it bolts onto two tabs on the frame back here, and then there's this piece which goes over the top and bolts into the top of the toolbox. So I'm going to start with that, sort of hang it on that, and then we'll do the back ones. Maybe put it in from the other side. No, maybe not. Let's I have a new kickstart spring, so don't worry about that. I'm going to give this a bit of a clean out. Look, there's polish all over. Ah, there we go. Of course, if you put it in the right way up, Michael, it's one of those things that looks right in half a dozen different. There we go. I wondered why it wouldn't go over the chain guard. So, that in there. I think I must have been a bit heavy putting the paint on when I did this red. A few of these just like that. I've actually had to screw that in. Well, hopefully. I used 3/4 bolts for these. I hope they're going to be right. I don't want them to be too long. Yes. There we go. I'm using those nice stainless steel button cap, I think they call them, fasteners. This type, I like them. And maybe got them on a little tight because I need to slide this a little bit. Well, here's the heater coming on, so might get a little noisy. Alright, so I'll tighten that up, and then I've got this piece which goes on there. That sort of holds the battery in, and it's also the mounting for that. Now if any of you Royal Enfield people are saying, aha, that should be black, the box should be black. You're right, on the Enfields that was black and only the covers were the mudguard colour. But on the Indians, they did the whole thing in the mudguard colour. So it is right. So let me tighten this up, and then I'll lower this down, as I say, and we'll look at the wiring harness. A couple of quick things to show you. One, I found I needed to put a little spacer in there, partly because it would have crushed up against this part here, this little relief there, and also just to move it to get the top one in. The other one is here. Why they have bolts instead of studs sticking out. Where's it gone? This should have a monnet block. They only just have enough room to get the carb in. So, just thought I'd show you that. So, we've got our wiring harness here from Hitchcock's. I got one for a 1960 Super Meteor. And one handy thing that comes with these is this nice sheet here, which has got all the wires, their colours, where they go to, and what sort of end they've got on them. So this is really handy if you haven't got a wiring diagram. But as I perused it, I discovered a problem. 59 engine, 55 bike. 55 would have a magneto on it. So that's why I got the later one for the distributor and coil. And I'm reading through the thing there, and of course it starts to tell me about a bunch of wires that go to the ignition switch, and I suddenly thought, ignition switch? I haven't seen an ignition switch anywhere. So I'm not sure where it was mounted. Now this side panel isn't actually the right one. It should be the flat type. This is the one that was on the bike. It's the original left-hand one. But Hitchcock's didn't have a right-hand one, either a metal one or a fiberglass one. And I was watching and watching, and I couldn't find one for ages. So I bought a fiberglass one, painted it up, so I could finish the bike. If the worst comes to worst, I was going to put fiberglass on both sides, so it was the curved one on both sides. But now I'm wondering where I'm going to put the ignition switch. So what I might have to do is, don't suppose it's going to be standard, is as on a lot of bikes, put a hole and mount the ignition switch there on the side. So anyway, just to let you know, that's a little problem we've got to overcome. So what I'm going to do is start at the front end so we can get the headlight and everything on. So let's move you up there. I thought that before we started sticking wires on, I should check that the switch gear and this wiring are the same, because as I say, we're coming from two different models here. So the first thing I did was had a little look at all the wires that go up to the headlight, and some of them we can do without. Apart from anything else, we're going to 12 volt with an electronic voltage regulator. Now the old system for 6 volt, because it didn't, with an alternator, because it didn't have a way to regulate the current, and the alternator produces maximum current at all times, they had to have some way of reducing what went to the battery. So the way they did it was, you have 3 wires in the older alternators. 2 of them would go to the rectifier directly and be rectified to DC to feed the ignition circuit and to charge the battery when you use the horn and the rear brake and everything, which is all on as soon as you turn the ignition on. Then that 3rd wire, which was obviously carrying charge, would go to the headlight switch. And the idea there was, when you needed the extra charge, i.e. when you had the headlights on, you switch the headlight on, and one of the other circuits you made was that third leg coming from the alternator, which went up through the headlight switch and then went back down to the rectifier and was produced as to bulk up the DC to cover the lighting requirements. Now, as I say, we're not going to need to do that because we're going to 12 volt system and we're going to have a voltage regulator. So first thing is there are a couple of wires that we don't need, and it would seem to me that it mentions the green and white isn't sometimes used. Green and black is from the alternator. That's our current in. This one, I believe, because it goes down to the back end, is carrying that back down to go to the rectifier. It goes down to the ignition switch actually, and then it'll be routed to the rectifier. So we don't need those. So what else have we got? Well, we've got these two here, doubled up, brown and white, brown and black. They're going to go onto the ammeter. Blue one here, blue goes to your dip switch. This is one nice thing, that because everybody used Lucas Electrics, they all had the same colours. So blue is power to the dip switch, and then you have a blue and white and a blue and red coming from the dip switch for high and low. What else do we have? This is brown and black. That's going to be for your horn. Red and black is going to go to the pilot light. So these ones here are actually going to go into the switch. So the brown and white is going to be the power in. Now when you switch to pilot, what you need is the power to go to the red and black. That's your pilot light. But it's also got to go, of course, to the rear light, and it's got to go to the little illumination in the speedometer. Here's your blue to the headlight. Now when that's live, these two have got to be live again because you want those on with either pilot or main light. So what we're going to do, there are numbers written here, and on the inside of the switch, you won't be able to see them, there are numbers there. They start here 1 round to about 7 or whatever. But what I'm going to do to check is I'm going to put this on the various positions and see if they correspond. So in other words, when it's off, if I've got the power on the right one, there won't be power to any of the others. When I put it to pilot, there should be power to one of them and power to another one. So one is going to be to go to the pilot light and one is going to be to go to the rear lights. And then, I'm just pointing these at random. This one, say, wouldn't have any power. It would be the headlight. Then when I go to the main switch, this one now, which we had for pilot light, shouldn't be live. But this one that we had for rear should be. And then this one here, which we're going to connect to the main headlight, should be live as well. So what I'm going to do is, with the meter, check which is which. Let's see if this all works. Then we can put the wires on and know we're not going to have to take them off again when we get a battery on. So I've sort of written on here what goes to where. So as far as I know, power, brown and white, should be going to number 3. 1, 2, 3. So that should be our power. Now, red and black should be number 4. Should be the one next to it. So I'm in the off position now. So let's make sure this works. Our continuity meter. Yep. So if power, where are we, is on number 3, we shouldn't have anything to any of the others. Okay, that's good. So now let's turn it to low beam, which it says is number 4. So now if we've got power to number 3, we should have power to number 4, which we do, but not to any of the others. Oh! Okay. Maybe that's the one. Which was it say for brown and green? Number 5. Oh, this is number 5. Okay. So let's just go back one and make sure that's not live now. No, it's not. Okay, so that's good. So then we go to our main beam, which is blue, which it says should be number 2. Oh. Still working. That isn't live anymore. Hang on, have I turned this off? No. It's back to pilot. That one. And that one. So we may have a faulty switch, although it's unusual because there's nothing much to these. Number 3 is power. We're not getting anything in that position. So what I'm going to do now is play about until I can find that series of connection, i.e. power not going anywhere on off, power going to 2 of them on, and power going to and 2 again, but 1 of them different. So let me play around because this could take some time and we don't want to bore you with that. And also let me have a look, see if any of this filmed right. Alright, problem solved. Straight away actually, go back to basics. Old switch, copper connections, or brass connections. I just cleaned them off, scraped them off with this, and it works. So, here we go. Off position. Power on number 3. Nothing, 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 nothing. Pilot light. Power on number 3. Pilot light number 4. Nothing, nothing. Real lights. Main beam, well, headlight. Power on number 3. Where are we? Blue should be number 2. Power, no power. No power where the pilot was. Power where the backlight is. So we're all right. Now, I'm hoping you can see this, but the way it actually works is these things here are a couple of springs. There are a couple of sort of sprung rollers in there to keep some tension on this, to give it its détente sort of thing. Then, I don't know if you can see it in here, there's another little roller on a spring. So here, for instance, it's touching this one and this one. Now it's touching that one and that one. And now it's touching that one and that one. So that's how this works. The power when the power comes in there, and this is right out here, power's not touching anything. When you get to there, the power is touching the little foot, so that goes through to this one, and it's also touching that one. Then when it goes to there, power now is over this side, it's touching that one but not this one, and it's touching the little foot, so it goes back to there. Okay, now we can start on some wiring. I've put the wiring harness onto the frame just on a couple of cable ties so that it's not flopping around. And now with this type of switch gear, you don't actually put the wiring through a hole in the headlamp shell. It's all going to get fastened into the switch gear, then that'll get clamped down there and it'll be out of the way. So let's start. Where's our little list? Okay, red and black goes to number 4. Red and black, and that is, don't forget these ones coming out of here. Red and black. Goes to number 1, 2, 3. 4. I was probably out of camera, but I've also done is put a towel on the front mudguard just in case I drop something. I don't want it to chip a lump of paint out. Right, so that's number 4 in there. Red and black. Brown and green goes to number 5. 2 of them. Because you remember that's one goes to the tail light, one goes to the light for inside the speedo. And if you've got a rev counter, it would go there as well. Fiddly isn't in it, particularly since we want these to go. Oh. Would have been easier to do this on the bench. They've also got to go through this little clamp here. That's what holds the wires in. So maybe if I stick them in there first. And of course this one is turned round to the back here. Let's see if I can. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these a little bit longer. I think you're going to have to be patient with this. This could prove to be fiddly, and I'm going to cut them longer so that I can twist them together. To feed them into the switch. Round a little bit. Hook them into the hole. Realise you don't have the screwdriver anymore. Oh, actually, this has got a pillar on it. I don't know why. Something else must have bolted on here. So what I've got is actually that to tighten up. Okay. Let's get these ones out of the way. Yellow we don't want. Green and black we don't want. Green and white we don't want. Now I'm not going to cut these off out the way just in case. You never know what somebody else might want to do. So then what have we got? Blue goes on number 2. So put my screwdriver down again. Blue goes on number 2. I think all we have now is brown and white to go into. We've got the red and black, we've got the brown and green, we've got the blue. Brown and white goes into number 3. That's it. Oh, white here. Am I getting out of camera again? Probably. This hasn't been another one of those things where I'm chattering away and you can't hear anything, has it? Let's have a look. I think we should have been alright most of the time. Alright. There we go. Okay, so that's all them in. Now we have these to put onto the ammeter. Now let's think, brown and blue. I think I said brown and black for brown and blue earlier. It's positive earth, so it should be going from negative. So that's going to go on that side. That's going to go on that side. Washers. Oh, come on, you went on there earlier. Drill those washers out then. Guess I didn't drill those two quite enough. Alright, then we have a couple of nuts. Which are fractionally bigger than 5/16. So I'm actually using an 8mm. Now then. These now have to go down inside clip. All you can see is my sleeve, isn't it? So they're going inside that clip there, and as always with wiring, you're trying to find enough space for everything to go in. Then I want a small nut and bolt. Hopefully that's long enough to go. That's close. Let's get a pair of pliers, pull that up. I've got to tweak that a little bit with the pliers to get this in, so I won't, oops, I dropped the nut. So I won't hold you up while I'm I've got the little screw in to hold that. Got all the wires that are going to go into the headlamp down there. This is the one that's going to go up to the speedo, so that's going to poke out. Then this entire thing just goes on there. Well, famous last words again. This entire thing goes on there like so. Holes line up. 1. Two, and hopefully let me come around the other side. Number 3. And that all goes down there. Like so. And now we've got our couple of little ones here. So that's going to go to the pilot light. That is an earth. And then in here you can't see, well, you might just be able to see them. I don't know. There's the one for the lights and the one for the horn switch. So horn switch will come in. We'll have to slip that up the back as well, but that's easily done. So now we have the headlight unit to put in. So I'll take you back over to the bench. Right, I haven't got much battery left, so let's see if I can show you how to put a light unit into the rim. You use what's known as W clips, and they're called W clips for obvious reasons. So, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this with you seeing it, but what happens is that goes in there, the bottom piece goes over the glass part, and these two arms clip underneath the rim. Like that. Then I've got to go around and do them all, but I've got to hold it, so I don't know if you'll be able to see this very well. In fact, I'm disappearing out of camera, aren't I? Now this brand new glass isn't exactly a brilliant fit in the rim. It's almost too small. So I've shown you how W clips work. Let me see if I can finagle this together and show you it when it's done. So there it is all together with W clips in all the way around. And when you're doing it, make sure that your Lucas is across when the pilot light is at the bottom. There's nothing worse than getting it all on and finding out the pilot light's up here somewhere. So you're either going to have the pilot light in the right place and Lucas out of the way. So there's that. Next thing is to fit this in. Alright, I'll have to take this back off again to put the light and everything, but let's see what it looks like with a headlight in. This is going to be it for the day. I'm actually surprised. Well, it's the original rim. You buy new rims and they never go on right. So there we go. Let's take a wider view. Tell you what, I'll even put a bit more shiny on, look. Starting to look something like. There you go. How does that look? I do like Enfields. Okay, that's going to be all for now. It's Saturday, it's absolutely pouring with rain. At least it's not snow. And as I say, I'm off to Baltimore on Monday. So, that's all for now. You go off and enjoy yourselves.